classified the segregation as 1, 2, 3, 4, X and the asterisk. Okay. 1 is away from, 2 is separated from, 3 is separated by complete compartment or a hole from, 4 is separated by an intervening bulkhead. So that will be looking into the detail. X, there is no segregation required as per the IMO, but if the shipper is selling anything to comply, so then you have to comply, which will be mentioned in your IMDG manifest. For the asterisk, it is mentioned that C 7.2.7.2 of the IMDG code, that is if you want to do the segregation. Now suppose I want to carry class 8 with class 5.2. So I can check here 8 and I can check here 5.2. So it is telling me IMDG segregation is 2. Or you can check it here class 8 and class 5.2. So here also the number will be the same. That is segregation is 2. Suppose I want to carry 6.1 with 3. So 6.1 with 3, there is no segregation required. You can carry as per the IMDG code. But if there's any segregation as per the shipper, then you have to comply with that segregation. Okay. So this is what you have to do it. Now suppose it is segregation number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, that we'll see into detail. So if it is 1, it is away from, 2 is separated from, 3 is separated by complete compartment or a hole from, and 4 is separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or a hole from. So there are two segregations, the vertical segregation and the horizontal segregation. Vertical segregation means suppose you want to store under deck or under deck into the same row 06, one on top of the other. Horizontal segregation, suppose you want to store the container adjacent to each other. Suppose you want to store in base 6, row 04, base 6, row 06, whether you can store that or not. The least stringent is the 1 and the most stringent is number 4. So let us see about number 1. Suppose I want to store carry number 3 with 4.3. So segregation is 1. 1 means they had given vertical separation closed versus closed and closed versus open and open versus open. Closed versus closed means the class, whatever class we are referring, that is 3 and 4.3. So that means the class 3 and 4.3, both the containers are fully closed container. You can store one on top of the other. You can store class 3 and on top 4.3, or you can store 4.3 on top, you can store as class 3. Closed versus open. Closed versus open means either the class 3 is open container and 4.1 is a closed container, or 4.1 is a open container, or class 3 is a closed container. Open on top of closed is permitted. Otherwise, you have to refer for open versus open. Open on top of closed is permitted. So that means the open container, whichever class is open, that you have to keep it on top, and the closed one you will keep it down. But suppose due to the condition is such that you will be reaching first the cargo with the closed one. So you want to keep the closed on top of open. Is telling is not permitted. You have to refer to open versus open. Open versus open means not in the same vertical line unless segregated by a deck. So that means if you want to keep it in row 04, the open and then on top, it is not permitted unless and until it is segregated by a deck. Segregated by a deck means the open container you will keep it under deck, then you will close the hatch cover, then you will keep the closed container on top. Okay, so this is what it is meant by in the same vertical line. For horizontal segregation, there are two: fore and aft segregation and athwartship segregation. Fore and aft. So again, two: closed versus closed, closed versus open, or open versus open. That is on deck, under deck, on deck, under deck, on deck, under deck. So if both the containers are closed, you want to keep it on deck 4.5. Suppose this is 20-foot container, you want to keep in bay 1, bay 3, no restriction. You can keep it under deck also, no restriction. Closed versus open, either class 3 is open or 4.1 is open. On deck, horizontal, no restriction. Under deck also, no restriction. Open versus open, fore and aft, you have to keep one container space. Okay. So both the containers are open. Suppose class 3 is also open container, class 4.1 is also open container. So you will load in bay 1, you cannot load in bay 3, then you have to load it in bay 5. So this is what this is meant by one container space. Under deck, one container space or one bulkhead. So here also you have to leave one container space or you have to keep one bulkhead. And a third ship, so that means you want to load it in bay 1, row 02, row 04. If both are closed, on deck, under deck, no issues. If either one of them is closed or either one of them is open, no restriction. You can store adjacent to each other. But if both the containers are open, you have to leave one container space. So that means if I load in bay 10, row 04, I cannot load in row 06. I can load only in row 08. And under deck also, you have to keep one container space. So this is away from. Similarly, you have separated by complete compartment or a hold from, and the most stringent one is the 4.1, number 4, which is separated longitudinally by an intervening complete compartment or a hold from. So vertical separation, close versus open, open versus open, all are completely prohibited. It is not possible to carry. Athwartship also, you can see all are prohibited. You are not allowed to carry those things. Horizontal, 4.5. So minimum horizontal distance of 24 meter. So if it is under deck, one bulkhead and minimum horizontal distance of 24 meter. Then on deck is same 24 meters. Under deck, two bulkheads if one is open. If both are open, minimum horizontal distance of 24 meters or under deck is two bulkheads. So number 4 is the most stringent one. Usually, this IMDG code segregation is loaded into the loadigator where the CHIOSA will come to know if there's any segregation is required, it will give you the alarm. But if you have to check it manually, so this is how you are going to check it. Okay. All clear? Anybody having any doubt regarding the segregation?
No, sir.
Okay, next one is a very important one. That is the column number 15 of the IMDG code, which we will refer it. Suppose there is a fire on board the vessel with respect to the IMDG cargo, or if there is a spillage of cargo on board the vessel with respect to IMDG cargo. So how to act on it? One. The EMS codes are assigned into each UN number in the column number 15 of the dangerous goods. EMS, that is emergency schedule, is of two parts. One starting with the letter Foxtrot and the second starting with the letter the Sierra. Okay. So F means it is with respect to the firefighting. S means it represents the spillage. Emergency schedule tables are published in the supplement of IMDG code. So this full form of F2G S2N, you will find it into the IMDG code supplement. So the fire schedule is from fire alpha, fire bravo, depending upon the danger. The IMO has done the differentiation how to fight the fire. So it's from Foxtrot Alpha to Foxtrot Juliet, and the spillage is from Sierra Alpha to Sierra Zulu. Okay, so let us see now. So suppose you have referred to this cargo and it is showing that for fire you have to refer to FG. So when you go to the IMDG code supplement, there is a separate page given for Foxtrot Alpha, Foxtrot. Each one is a separate page. Now we have to go to the page of Foxtrot Golf. Foxtrot Golf is a water reactive substance. So if the container is on fire and if the container is on deck, if the fire is not igniting nearby cargoes, let the fire burn. Otherwise, cool the burning transport unit with copious quantity of water. Try to avoid getting water into the container. Cargo on fire in under deck if the container is loaded under deck. Stop ventilation and close hatches. The fixed gas fire detection system should be used. If this is not available, do not use water onto the material in enclosed space under deck with open hatches. Cool nearby cargo with copious quantities of water. Although the fire could intensify a short period of time, do not spray small quantities of water onto the fire. Use copious quantities of water. So this is how you will fight the fire. Okay, just hold on for a minute. So this is how you will refer to the fire schedule into the IMDG code supplement. Okay. So similarly, you will refer to the spillage also. Suppose you had referred to this cargo where fire was Golf, which you refer, and the spillage is Oscar. Spillage Oscar. So similarly, you will have the page for the spillage also into the IMDG code supplement. So here also two probabilities if the spillage is on deck or under deck. If the spillage is on deck, so wash overboard with copious quantity of water, keep clear of the effluent. And if the spillage is under deck, so usually if they have segregated as two, says the small spillage or the large spillage. Suppose the spillage is a large spillage, do not enter the space without self-contained breathing apparatus. If dry, collect and contain the spillage if practicable. Keep dry, dispose of overboard, avoid contact with water. Expect to wash residues with copious quantities of water. Keep clear of the effluent. If wet, wash down to the bottom of the hole. Use copious quantity of water. Pump overboard. If gas is developing, provide good ventilation of the hole. Use water spray on the effluent in hole to avoid ignition of flammable vapors. Where a ventilation system is used, particular attention should be taken in order to prevent the toxic vapors of fumes entering the occupied spaces of the ship. Example, living quarters, machinery spaces, and working areas. So this is what you have to refer to. Okay. So this is how you will refer to in case there is a fire, in case there is a spillage. So how to handle the spillage, how to enter the fire. So this is how the instructions will be mentioned into the coded language into the IMDG code table. Then you have to refer to the respective supplement. Okay. So fire schedules, fire alpha to fire Juliet. So what is over there depending upon the danger which the cargo is presenting. So they have differentiated the fire fighting schedule. And similarly, the spillage schedule they have started from Sierra Alpha to Sierra Zulu is the spillage schedule which they have segregated it. Okay, so this was regarding the IMDG code, the second one. Last part will be covering. So that is with respect to the company specific guidelines of the IMDG code. HAZMAT course. Okay, why you are doing this HAZMAT course? So as per the VPM Appendix E of the QSCMS manual of 8.3.4 cargo operation guidelines. Okay, so the company realized that proper handling, storage and care of IMDG containers is essential for the safety of life, safety of the vessel and the marine environment and the cargo itself. So the below instructions are to be complied during storage and carriage of IMDG code as per the SOLAS Chapter 2 Regulation 19 and as per the local regulations, which is as per the US regulation, that is 49 CFR, which is the Code of Federal Regulations in United States. So why you are doing this course? All the persons who are responsible for the storage and carriage of cargo, especially the master and the chief officer, should be in the position of the valid hazmat certificate. Okay. So as per MSC, the master, the chief officer, the second officer, the third officer, the junior officer, and the deck cadet, whoever is the officers, so all should have the valid hazmat certificate with them. Okay. So, as per this one, the refresher training is required to be carried out every 3 years as per the USCG CFR regulation 49 or 172.704. So, please write down. So, once you go on board the vessel, so now today you will get the certificate. Suppose today is March of 2000 and 2025. So this certificate will remain valid for throughout your lifetime. But if your vessel is going into the United States, so they want you to do the refresher training every 3 years. So that means your refresher training will be due in March of 2028. For the refresher training, they had given you two options. Either you can do the same training with online, which I am doing it, one option. Or the second option is once you go on board the vessel, for the training purposes, you will have two software installed. One is the Video Tel and other is the OLP, which is the Ocean Learning Program. If it is a Video Tel, so then you have to refer to the modules 1139 and 1140. You have to view these modules. You have to pass the assessment and then you have to generate the certificate. Similarly, if the video tel is not installed, then you will have the second one, which is the Ocean Learning Program is installed. If that program is installed, you have to get trained for the training module 0053 and 0151. Please copy all these module numbers. Huh? So you have to pass the assessment, then you have to generate the certificate. The certificate should be signed and sent by the master. So then it is acceptable that you can do, it is considered as you have done the refresher course. Clear? Also, the company is sending you the drill planner for this year. Also, the drill planner was sent in the month of January. So you make sure that all the drills are carried out as per the drill planner. And appropriate records have been maintained on both the vessel. Copy down this one. Documentation required. You should have 3 copies of dangerous good manifest, 1 copy of the competent authority approval, 1 copy of emergency cards, 1 copy of IMO bay plan. You should have it in your custody before you depart from the port. If you do not have the dangerous cargo manifest, you should put your foot down. You will not sail out the vessel unless until you don't get this IMDG manifest. Master's duties under the IMDG code. So first is the fixed smoke detection system and the CO2 release system or the drencher system it is fitted or the sprinkler system. It should be in good working condition. The integrity of electrical cables and electrical fittings should be in good condition. Remote operation of the cargo ventilation fans and emergency fire pump should be in working condition. Proper operation of the ventilation flaps. You should have 2 or more SCBA set, self-contained breathing apparatus and spare cylinders for a CBS set. You should have it on board the vessel. You should have 4 chemical suits on board the vessel. You should have adequate number of fire hoses and dual fire nozzles on board. You should have medicines and medical equipment as per the IMDG code, additional bilge pump arrangements. So if you're carrying the IMDG cargo, usually you are having separate IMDG medicines which are available on board MSC vessels. Ensure that any extra safety equipment required for the IMDG code is placed on board prior departure from the load port, and such equipment must be inspected and maintained as per the maker instructions. So, if you are carrying any IMDG container, if as per the DG manifest you have to carry certain certain safety equipment, you will make sure that that safety equipment is available on board the vessel before you depart from the port, and make sure that the maintenance of that equipment is carried out as per the maker instruction. GEOSA duties. Okay, so the GEOSA will ensure that the cargo stowage plan should contain the UN number, IMDG class, EMS, and plus the DG cargo stowage plan should be displayed at 3 locations: one in the common alleyway, one in the wheelhouse, and at both port and starboard fire plan boxes. You have to display the IMDG plan. GEOSA duties continuation. So the IMDG cargo should be inspected on daily basis. So whenever he's checking the IMDG cargo, they will make entry into the deck logbook. And if the IMDG cargo are stored under deck, so if the smoke detection system has inoperational, then it should be defect should be repaired as soon as possible. What to inspect? You will ensure that the stickers are posted on all the 4 sides. The seals are put onto the IMDG container. The container is in normal condition. It is not leaking or not damaged or not having any smoke signs. And in the ports where the pilferage is there, you will make sure that you will take the extra security measures so that the IMDG container is not been fingered around. Second officer, third officer duties. So you will make sure that whenever the container is loaded on board the vessel, it should have stickers on all the 4 sides, and the container should be loaded to the exact position which is approved by the chief officer for loading the DG. You cannot change that location. Even tier wise, row wise, bay wise, you cannot change that location. Also, make sure that the IMDG container is getting loaded. It is in normal condition, no sign of any damage or heat or smoke. And in case anything is there, immediately bring it to the notice of the master or the chief officer. Communication, in case you have lost the IMDG container overboard in rough weather or the container spillage has gone overboard, immediately you have to inform it to the office. One thing. The second thing is you have to report it to the nearest coast station by using the format which is available in the SOPE for the oil spillage. So this is what you have to do the reportings on priority basis. Emergencies, any emergency on board the vessel, you will refer to the material safety data sheet, which is there for the DG cargo. And what I showed you, you have to refer to the emergency schedule of the IMDG code. In case of fire, in case of spillage, you will see the codes and you will go to the supplement and then attend to it. VPM Appendix E 8.3.4 cargo operation guidelines of the QMS should be complied with. All ship staffs to take measure to enhance the personal safety, ship safety, environment safety, and other cargo safety should be complied with. Immediate concern. So immediate consideration should be given for protective measures against fire and explosions, personal exposure to toxic vapors, prevention of escalation of the incident. So you make sure that whenever you are doing any cleaning of any of the spillage, even if the liquid is odorless or colorless, you will wear the chemical suit, then only you are going to attend to it. Mitigation measures. So always make sure that you will wear the proper protection gear. So full risk assessment should be done before you carry out the cleanup operation. Make sure that the spilled material is contained by the absorbents and to the leak-proof container, which we will offline to the shore reception facility only. So once you are done the cleanup operation, you will decontaminate yourself by doing the proper washing and the cleanup process. So these are the contact details which are given as per your vessel procedure manual, which is available on board your vessel, which is also a part of your QCMS manual as per Appendix E. So in case there is a fire on board the vessel, you can refer to the IMDG code and you can contact to the MSC, that is our company in-house dangerous cargo department. The station is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all around the year. So in case of any emergency on board the vessel, they will give you the guidance how to act on it. The telephone numbers are given, the email ID is also given. So this is with respect to the IMDG code. Okay, one small video I will show you with respect to the IMDG code. So whatever we have studied today, so that is just the revision of that part. Okay, just hold on.
Video is on the IMDG code.
So if you can hear
IMDG
me and if
stands
you
for the
can hear the
International
audio, just give us a
Maritime
thumbs up.
Dangerous Goods Code. Knowledge about this code
Oh,
is important to mariners who are specially involved in the carriage of these dangerous goods at sea, because dangerous goods can often, not often, but sometimes due to the properties of their goods, it can lead to a fire or poisoning or asphyxiation or corrosion or explosion of some kind. So it's essential that if you are carrying any kind of dangerous goods on ships, you should be referring to this code to get all the important information about that good, about the cargo, so that you can observe precautions regarding it. All right, so I'll start with the code and I'll tell you what are the essential aspects of the code and how to use the code to get the important information. So if you are not aware of it, then the IMDG code is actually provided on all ships that are required to be carrying the dangerous goods. If your ship is required to carry dangerous goods, make sure that you have a copy of the IMDG code. When I say copy of the IMDG code, I mean there are two volumes and a supplement. So since 2008, IMDG has two volumes and one supplement. Before 2008, I don't know how many of you were sailing before 2008, but before 2008, IMDG actually had four volumes and a supplement. But since 2008, and they introduced the CD version, and they combined the four volumes into two volumes, but they still have the supplement along with it. All right. I'll take you through each volume. Now, volume number one is that classifies the IMDG goods. Now, if you are thinking about what is IMDG or what is dangerous goods are classified according to these 9 classes that you see on your screen. So we have class 1, which is explosives. Then we have flammable gases, flammable liquids, flammable solids, oxidizing substances, poisonous substances, radioactive substances, corrosives, and class 9 is your miscellaneous category. So you have these different classes of dangerous goods, and each class also has subclasses. And I'll talk about that as well. So that's how the International Maritime Dangerous Goods classification is carried out. All right, so when I say subclasses, so I mean that, for example, if you look at class 4, it mainly talks about flammable solids. But then you have category or class 4.1, which talks about flammable solids that are self-reactive substances and solid desensitized explosives. Class 4.2 is about substances liable to spontaneous combustion. And you have class 4.3, which are substances which in contact with water will emit flammable gases. So although Class 4 overall talks about flammable solids, they also have subcategories. Similar subcategories are there in Class 5, Class 3, Class 6, and so on. All right. And of course, you have those labels available. So if you are carrying any of the categories of those goods, you are supposed to be marking the container or the packaging with these labels to clearly identify. Now, that should be done from the shipper side. It should be done from the port side. But you will go to many ports where they will not label the container properly or the packaging properly. Then you have to make sure that you are carrying labels on the ship, and you should be labeling all the four sides, for example, of a container. Sometimes in some ports they label only one side, or the label has already come off and they have not noticed it. So you have to make sure that you label it on all sides. Now here is the details about the volumes and the supplements of the IMDG code. Now, volume 1 is not something that you really have to go into. Of course, it talks about the general provisions, definition, training. The classification of goods is defined in volume 1. So, of course, if you have to learn about the classification of the dangerous goods, you have to go into volume 1. But volume 1, if you go through it, you will see that it's mainly for the shipper's perspective. It is mainly for the port or the shipper or the people who are involved in packaging and labeling of the goods. It is more from their perspective. From your perspective as a mariner, volume 2 is more important, and I'll show you why. Because volume 2 basically provides you with the details of the cargo, all the essential details that you need for carrying these goods on your ship. And I'll go into the details as well as I proceed with this presentation. Then we have the supplement section, which is the third section. Apart from the 2 volumes, you have a separate document which is called supplement volume, and the supplement provides you with other important information, and that also you need to be very familiar with. So you need to get information about the emergency procedures, the medical first aid procedures, the reporting procedures, use of pesticides on ships. So all these kind of important information is provided in the supplement as well. So you have to be very familiar with how you use these goods. So if you're a chief officer on a ship, ideally, or if you're a senior officer on a ship, and you have been told that your ship will be carrying dangerous goods, as soon as you receive information about it, the shipper will some shipping document, and it will provide you with all the essential details as you would find in the volume 2 of the dangerous goods. But you also have to confirm your own side as well as to whether you are able to maintain the safety or the fire or the medical procedures from your side, whether you have all the equipment or not. So if you see here on your screen, what you have is an extract from volume 2, the extract or the volume that I say that you should be very familiar with. So you can see here for every dangerous good which has been listed in order of their UN number. So if you see on the extreme left side column, you have the column of UN number, which is your United Nations number, a number that has been designated to the particular dangerous good. And you can see them, it's in increasing order of that. So I think in the olden version, we had them on alphabetical order. If I'm not wrong, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but I think in the older version before 2008, it was alphabetical order, but then after that, they have decided to categorize it, list it in the order of the increasing UN number. Then you have the second thing, you have the PSN. PSN stands for proper shipping name. So why the proper shipping name was designated is because many shippers sometimes, maybe due to innocence or maybe due to negligence or sometimes intentionally, they try to ship goods, dangerous goods under normal goods, and sometimes that has led to fire or explosion or incidents or poisoning or asphyxiation, inhalation by the crew, and let them dying. So to prevent that, the International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code, the IMDG code, what they decided was they will very specifically describe the good so that the shipper has to ship it under its proper shipping name, so that they cannot take advantage. Because you see, if you are shipping dangerous goods, it requires additional packing and additional precautions, additional handling measures, and that for that the shipper has to pay more money. So to avoid paying that money, the shippers sometimes, and I'm not saying they do it all the time or they do it intentionally, sometimes even it's due to negligence, or sometimes they are not aware about it. So they have shipped dangerous goods that are classified as dangerous goods with the normal goods, which has led to incidents. So that's why a proper shipping name has been classified to all these dangerous goods. Then you have the class given to the goods as well. So we discussed about the class just a couple of slides back, and the class of the good is provided. The subsidiary risk is defined, the packing group, special provisions required, limited quantities, then packing instructions. Then we go on to special packing provisions, the international bulk carrier packing instruction, special provision as well. Then you have the IMO portable tank and bulk containers provisions described as well. So what if it is being shipped in a tank, or what if it is what is the provisions required. Then you have the codes given for your emergency schedule, that is your EMS. So you can see in the column the codes are as FASQ or FASA. Now these are codes, so you have to take these codes and go into the supplement volume and then look under these codes and see what they stand for. So they cannot accommodate all the instructions in one page or in couple of pages. They struggle with that. It's too much of content. So for that, they have provided you with these codes, and then you take these codes and go into the supplement volume and find out more information about the cargo. Then you have the stowage and segregation requirements provided as well. So you can see the categories are provided, and you can find out about the categories from class 1 of the dangerous goods code. Then you have some properties and observations. These are something that you have to really be familiar with. Why I say so is because when you are carrying these goods, and especially if you're a chief officer who's responsible of for carrying these goods, you should be aware of these properties, because some of these properties, they like I described before, some of these properties may come they if when in contact with water, they may emit flammable gases. Now if these flammable gases they catch fire, there could be an incident. Or if there is any kind of poisonous substances, poisonous gases being released, and your crew inhales these gases, maybe they are working near these goods, they are not aware of it, they are not wearing the face mask, they will inhale these gases, they might die. Or if some solids are self-reactive substances, or they might be kept under the sun, and because of the sun's heat, they catch fire and explosion takes place. Then you have to be very aware of the properties of the dangerous goods that you're carrying on the ship, so that you can store them, you can at the right place, at the designated place, and maintain all precautions for crew safety and ship safety as well as cargo safety. Then parts of the IMDG code that are needed when dealing with emergencies. Now I've talked mostly about all of it, but like I said, volume 2 and supplement is the documents or the publications that you have to be very familiar with. Volume 1, of course, volume 1, like I told you before, contains many important details, but in my opinion, it is more from the shipper's perspective or the port's perspective. For you guys as mariners, you must study volume 2 and supplement very carefully, especially the medical first aid guide or the medical first aid procedures, which are described in this section, and that helps you to deal with the medical emergencies which may result due to the carry goods. All right, now in terms of emergency information, of course, once you get the cargo UN number, you can go into volume 2, part 3, DG list, check for the emergency schedule codes, and then check for the emergency schedule guide, fire schedule, spillage schedule. So remember, we had FASA or FASQ. In that, F stood for fire and S stands for spillage. So when you have FA, that is fire, and then the category of what to do in a fire, and then SA or SQ, in that the S stood for spillage schedule. So what would you do if there was a spillage of the cargo? How would you clean up? Would you require to wear mask? Would that cargo emit flammable vapors or poisonous vapors? So these are some of the things or the information that you need to get out of publications. All right. Now, like I said, emergency schedules and medical first aid guide is the one that you have to focus on when it comes to the supplement. Now, emergency schedules are listed in column 15 of the dangerous goods list, as we saw before, and two notations are used to indicate the emergency schedule against each UN number. So fire schedules are described from FA, B, C all the way to FJ, and spillage schedules are described all the way from SA, SB, SC all the way to SZ or SZ. In terms of actual emergencies, like I said, the medical first aid guide is provided. There is a flow chart that details the sequential action. There are about 20 tables and 15 appendices that is there for you to assist you, and it describes the various first aid procedures and what to be done if there is any kind of medical emergencies resulting from this carriage of these dangers. So if you go into the medical first aid guide, you will see there's a flow chart, there's an emergency action, there are 20 tables there depending on what is the case on your ship. Then you can carry out a diagnosis, and then if you can carry out the diagnosis, then you can go ahead and treat it. And if you can't, then further actions are described based on state of casualty, where you might have to seek radio medical advice as well. That you find in the medical first aid guide procedures. Then you have something called the material safety data sheets or MSDS. Now, I will say that these days sometimes they are called MSD also. They are called material safety data. They are not called MSDS, as they are called MSD. In some documents they are called MSD. In many places they are still called MSDS. So that is why I have mentioned it as MSDS. But I have heard and I have seen that in many places they call it MSD. Now, MSDS or MSD is part of the shipping documentation, which is associated with the carriage of the dangerous goods or hazardous goods. And they are very valuable if you are planning for any kind of emergency or to deal or a tactical response to deal with an emergency incident. These sheets provide you with is along with the cargo manifest, they provide you with additional information about the cargo that you're carrying. So for these hazardous goods, the shipper should provide you with a material safety data sheet information or MSD information, and that will provide you with the details of the shipper, the product name, all the details that you can get of the IMDG book. You don't have to go into the IMDG book then. Also provides you with the manufacturer's code, the physical description of the properties, any special properties required, any special precautions required, what are the health hazards that may be exposed to the crew if there is any kind of spillage or leakage or fire, and all the details. You can see the details are there. It's kind of a summarized version of what you would be needing from the IMDG code regarding the cargo that you're carrying on the ship. So this is a very useful document, and that's why I thought I should mention it under the IMDG code, that if you have this MSD, then make sure that you study it, you highlight the important details and points, and make sure you also educate your ship's crew about the cargo and about this emergency or the special properties of the cargo. When you get the MST or the MSTS, make sure that you read it. Make sure that it's current. It's within a 5-year validity period. It should be complete. Normally, it comprises of about 5 pages. I think on an average about 5 pages. Make sure that all the 5 pages are complete. The details have been filled. Make sure that you check that it is for the cargo that you are carrying. It's not incorrect or a wrong MSD has not been supplied to you. Implement whatever it recommends. If it recommends anything about carrying special medical equipment or firefighting equipment or personal protective equipment, make sure that it is there on the ship. If it is not there, then you should be ordering it and making sure it is there on the ship. Do not use the substance for anything other than what is recommended. So if you are carrying any kind of protective equipment, cleaning equipment or handling equipment, make sure you only carry it for that particular job, that particular task, and not for any other task. Finally, the last 2 slides, I'll just talk a little bit about the prevention of fire that involves dangerous goods. So if you have the MSD sheets, like I said, make sure that you consult it. Keep combustibles away from all the ignition sources. So if you're carrying dangerous goods, make sure any kind of combustible sources are kept away. If there is any lighting, that they should be protected. It should be spark proof. There should be provision of adequate packing material for flammable substances. Make sure that you reject any kind of damaged or leaking packages. Store the packages so that they are protected from any kind of accidental heating or damage. They should not be exposed directly to the sun if they are self-igneous or self-spontaneously ignited. Make sure that you carry or observe the segregation procedures from substances that, if they come in contact with each other, may lead to further trouble. And make sure that you ensure adequate access to fight a fire in case of an emergency. Put up no smoking conditions and maintain it very strictly. I have seen in some ports where the shore crew or the port crew are engaging in smoking, especially even in areas where dangerous goods are being carried. Make sure that it is your ship and that you implement or police these actions very strictly. Do not allow anybody to smoke in these kind of compartments. Ensure that electrical cables and fittings are in good order. Maintain the fire precautions as per individual substance schedules. So like I said before, go into the fire schedule, into the emergency guide or emergency schedule of the supplement volume, and find out what fire precautions are required and follow it correctly. Ensure that appropriate protective clothing and firefighting equipment are at hand, and ensure that crew members are having a good working knowledge of onboard dangerous goods emergency procedures. So like I said before, it is not only important that you become aware of the properties of the cargo and the actions to be taken, but you also have to train your crew. You also have to educate them. You have to make them aware, because they will not be very conscious about the fact that the ship is carrying dangerous goods. They are not involved in all that procedures sometimes. And also many ships these days, of course, they also have drills and trainings regarding dangerous goods carriage on board. So make sure that you take these good drills and training seriously and use that time to educate your crew, remind them of the dangers that they are exposed to when such cargo is carried on board. For now, I think that's pretty much it. If I think of anything else that I have missed regarding IMDG code, or if you can think of something, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer it. All the best, guys. Bye.
Okay, so this was just the revision what we have done it in the morning. So in the video, it was explained in a gist what we have covered it. Okay, so be very, very careful when you're handling any of the DG cargo on board the vessel, as I told earlier. So do not handle with the naked hand. Always wear the proper chemical suits, and then only you are going to handle that. Okay. One last two things I will show it to you. So we have sent it to everyone, this feedback form, which you can see on my screen, and the assessment form. So date of course, you have to select it from the drop down menu as today is 25th. Course number, leave it blank. So whatever is there, you have to fill up all the sections. Are you better informed with complete 100? Yes. We have to answer all the questions, whatever is over here. Then you have to select the structure and time management of the course, whatever is the drop down menu. And then you have to put your name over here. Okay. Suppose my name is Sanjay Basu, and rank, you can put it over here, whatever is your rank. Okay. You have to save this file. You have to rename this file with your name so that it is easy for us to identify. Okay. So this is we expecting from you this one feedback form. And the next one which we are expecting from you is the assessment sheet. So put your name over here. Okay. Basu, rank. Suppose I'm third officer. I'll put third officer, date. So you can put today's date. So you have to select it from the drop down menu over here. Okay. Class 5.1 is oxidizing substances. 5.2 is organic peroxides. Okay. Flammable, you have to select it what it is 2.1, 2.3, 2.4, whatever is flammable, toxic, non-toxic, you have to select it. Which class do magnetized material belong to? Class 9. In the dangerous goods list, the PSN is that part of the letter which appears in the bold, italic, capital in the first column. So it is in capital letters. In cargo, hold smoke detection system is in operational. IMDG container must be physically inspected daily. You should have 3 copies of your Digi manifest, one copy of the DCCA approval, one copy of the emergency card, and one copy of the IMO Bay plan. Okay. As per IMDG code, there should be additional 2 SCBA set and 4 chemical suits. Dangerous goods storage plan must be common alleyway, wheelhouse, mess room, firehouse boxes, wheelhouse, and common alleyways. So it is this. Okay. You have to save this file, you have to rename this file with your name, and you have to send us back. You have to send it to the email ID which I'm putting it in the chat box. That is IN-001. Then let me check it. Well, IN dash training. Okay. It is IN-001 dash training dot training at the rate msc.com. So this is the email ID to whom you have to send the completed form. If you have not received this form, you can write a mail to the same email ID. You have attended today's session and you have not received the form, we will reply to that and we will send you the form. So anybody having any doubts or any questions up till now what we have discussed?
No, sir.
If no, then that is the end of the training. All the
No,
best and
sir.
have a
No,
safe
many.
trip. And do send us the completed form. And then you can download the certificate from the NECRE app.
Sir, the neck wrap is not working, right? Still.
It is working. So if
Okay.
you're having any issue, please take the screenshot and send it to the same email ID. We will try to attend to it. It
Okay.
was not working 1 week before, but after that it has started.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh. Okay, all the best. And it is the end of the training. You can leave the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
Sir, when the certificate get generated?
Once you send the assessment form, then you will get the certificate generated. You can check it today, late evening or tomorrow.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.